She-Hulk as a show is one of the most pathetic things I've witnessed. Everything was set up to have a joke at the expense of anyone who was actually enjoying the show. This is highlighted all the more by the one-note comedy and the terrible writing. If you like being made a fool of by something you thought was good, then good luck with that. I have some tags for you. You might like them. Just putting it out there. So guys, what I'm gonna do for this video is gonna talk about these two components and how they really contributed to the mess of a finale. There's gonna be time codes at the bottom. Feel free to skip. I'm just gonna ramble a little bit for my subscribers. If you're new here and you just want to get to the content, I understand. If you came here from this previous video, I did say I would make it if the video reached 1,000 likes. And I was gonna do it anyway. I think I wanted to witness this train wreck. In hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have wanted that to happen. And if you came from this video, I hope you got the joke, right? Like I foreshadowed it. The writers of the show in the finale basically say that they didn't like the ending they wrote. So they're gonna change it. They wrote it to be bad so that they can change it to be worse. And it was a really good suggestion by Inkblot Crisis. So I just implemented that. Thanks, my guy. Let's just make a review that's not a review. Why would I put the effort? Which is annoying because some of my thoughts just came in there anyway. So fuck. I have rambled long enough, so let's get right to the video.
Please clap, please clap, please clap, please clap.
She-Hulk likes to say it's a comedy. I don't believe it. Not a single bit. All the atoms in my body are saying, she's lying. Okay, comedy is subjective, so we do agree, right? That just says, oh, my feelings are like, it is funny. So this is me saying, no, it's not. I don't find it funny. We agree. It's so unfunny. So I think the show is a sitcom, but what they showed in the synopsis was that it was a comedy series. It's a limited series because it's just gonna air for one season, I think. What is a sitcom? So a sitcom is you had a group of characters and they're thrown into various situations and scenarios. And the comedy comes from them reacting to it. One of my favorite sitcoms of all time is How I Met Your Mother. Not one of the best endings of all time, but that's another tale for another time. So, you got Ted, the hopeless romantic. Ted's a bit of a wuss, bit of a pushover, a little neurotic, but his heart is in the right place, and I think that's why he's one of the characters I like in the show. You got Marshall, the goody two-shoes lawyer, and that actually creates some conflict with Marshall because he wants to pursue a good, stable income that might not necessarily be the most moral thing to do, but it ensures that he has a good life with his wife-to-be and his family. And he was the star in one of the best moments in the series, I think. And I won't spoil it. The people who know, okay? Lily, the elementary school teacher with a hidden nasty streak. Barney, our favorite character in the show. Which is funny because he's not the main character. But it's like he's the main character because he goes through the most development in the show. He's the gang's resident womanizer and funny person. I think he had an impact in pop culture because like what? Bro, awesome, suit up. I think some other words might have become popular to use or entered into the dictionary or in common speaking relatively after he came out. I think he was such a great character. Too bad about the ending. And Robin, Ted's on-again, off-again GF. An actual strong, independent woman. So the situations that come from this are, what happens when the gang runs into Ted's ex-fiancée who dumped him at the altar?
Okay, just be cool. We're just gonna have to deal with this. Everyone, follow my lead. Oh, you're kidding.
Is he serious?
I am not getting under this table. I'd maybe get under that table.
What happens when Ted decides to nurse his broken heart with uninhibited use of alcohol? One of the best episodes I've ever watched, actually. It's fun to rewatch How I Met Your Mother after She-Hulk because it's like, oh, this is what being happy feels like. Of course, How I Met Your Mother would have more episodes with different scenarios and characters should react differently depending on where they are as a character and in the story. But yeah, it's vastly different when you compare it to She-Hulk. She-Hulk is not How I Met Your Mother. It's not even in the same league. It's not even in the same ballpark. She-Hulk scenarios are when you really get down to it. Look at this terrible person. Isn't he stupid? Adam Friended has a great summary of the problem with the show, and I'll just quote it. She-Hulk has this pattern of introducing mostly throwaway characters that we are meant to laugh at. They are presented as people we would never associate with and are only here for us to mock and belittle.
No, I can't talk to a 10 about embarrassing man stuff. She could be my next fiancée.
Instead of playful ribbing between characters with real relationships, we are presented with genuine meanness towards characters who just seem mildly off or out of touch.
I'm sorry, what? Sorry, you thought you were dating Megan the Stallion?
What part of Shapeshifter did you not get?
There is no redemption for these characters because the show sees them as irredeemable.
Dennis Bukowski is an almost pathologically entitled man. He would absolutely believe that he's dating the real Megan Thee Stallion because he is truly that delusional.
So ultimately, Marvel is not building a show with a large cast of characters most people can empathize with. She-Hulk writers are building a universe populated with irredeemable outsiders audiences can publicly ridicule because they see themselves as morally superior. If we're not actively mocking someone and feeling morally superior, we get scenarios where Jen is some sort of victim and we're supposed to feel sorry, but she still maintains that moral high ground. Like the wedding episode, where Jen uses her powers responsibly by one-upping her former classmate, which is always nice in our superhero person thing, right? As the show progresses, you see that the people around Jen in this situation are horrible.
How are you? What have you been up to? What's going on?
Actually, I'm the head of a new department at GLK&H, which is like one of the most prestigious law firms in the country.
No, I didn't mean any. I didn't want that. Like, are you dating a guy? A boy? Is there a boy in your life?
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Where is the joke? Is that the joke? Is that really a joke? Cause like it pauses there and it's awkward and it just comes across as bullying. Why am I gonna laugh at that shit? And like the bullying continues in this episode. Jen is gonna walk down the aisle with some puppy dog. She is forced to iron out clothes. She meets Titania.
She has weaseled her way into this wedding to mess with me.
This really messes with my brain because I agree with Jen. In this universe where superheroes or superpowered people are a reality and they have a certain degree of fame or notoriety, especially fucking Titania, an influencer, people don't know about the trial she lost when she tried to steal She-Hulk's trademark.
You sound insane right now.
This is so unbelievable. I can laugh at Jen. Can I laugh at Jen? Because she could just have not gone to this fucking wedding. This person she admitted in the episode that she really doesn't feel close to. You could say no. Like, this is so weird. The other part of the episode is this guy being an idiot, trying to kill himself instead of facing his problems. When really his reaction is understandable. He's immortal. So instead of just taking it from your lawyer screaming at your ear, I'll just fucking kill myself. Yeah, I get it. How about this episode where she is with a cavalcade of men who are stupid and selfish and whatever.
How much can you deadlift?
My movie just premiered at Sundance. It was actually about a lawyer.
What a specimen.
And then she comments this.
Is there anything worse than dating in your 30s?
The setup is weird because she chose to swipe right. This is the comedy show? Why did you choose them then? I don't know. Like, this is so stupid. For any of the humor in the show to work, the characters have to be incredibly dumb or incredibly petty. This is why that stupid Mr. Immortal was caught.
And then he gets hit by like 4 different cars. His body regenerates, and then he just gets up and walks away.
This is also why she was bullied in the wedding episode. Because really, after plot shit happened and she punches out Titania, the bride confronts her, and this happens.
She-Hulk is at my wedding.
Yeah.
I love you so much. I'm a fan.
Whoa, huge!
So she was projecting.
Is there anything worse than dating in your 30s?
It would be funny if there was some self-awareness in the show. Jen realized, oh, maybe I shouldn't have swiped right, or maybe I shouldn't have bought Tinder Premium, or something, right? It's just the moral superiority angle all over again. A healthy dose of self-deprecation would actually help. It's like that saying, think deeply of the world and lightly of yourself or some shit. So what the show is telling me is that Jen's moral superiority is always correct, even when she has some responsibility.
This isn't even a reluctant superhero story. I'm just getting screwed over.
I don't like that at all. The cameos have varying degrees of stupidity. Blonsky is at least loquacious, but not silly. Okay, a little silly.
I have changed. Emotionally, physically, metaphysically, spiritually, karmically, cosmically, interdimensional,
etc.
Daredevil is okay for the most part, except for some very passive-aggressive jokes.
Are you like a superhero? Like the Gold Devil?
I'm Daredevil.
I'm just gonna make a segue here on Wong, because I think Wong got hit with a stupid hammer in this show quite a bit, because his episodes really don't need to exist. So for the Parole Blonsky episode, he wants to use magic.
Parole board will not release him after seeing this video.
I'm not erasing everyone's memories, not again. We'll send him to the mirror dimension.
I don't know what that is, but no.
Shadow dimension?
And in the episode after that, he wants to use the law to stop a person using magic.
Miss Walters, have a legal situation of the greatest importance.
He really should just use magic in either of these cases. He could just have freed Blonsky at any time. And he does at the finale. And when you have like world-threatening shit that you're telling Jen.
He's been using our sacred teachings in his shows. Practicing the mystic arts without proper training not only endangers people, it risks untethering the material and astral planes.
You want to use the legal system for this? The process that could take months, weeks, or years? And one you could still lose anyway? The thing that made you comically go out of reality and back to wherever you were? Okay, Wong, whatever. So that's not only bad comedy, it's also... One of the weaknesses I've seen in the show is its lack of continuity. Let's ignore the bigger Marvel universe for now, because if we don't ignore it, the show has no chance in hell.
May I remind you that the Sokovia Accords have been repealed.
Events happen in previous episodes that don't make sense in the next episode. I'll give you the easiest example, the Wongers episodes. Those happen back to back. Does that make sense? No! How about the Inhibitor? It's one of the core conflicts of Jen. Okay, it's supposed to be one of her core conflicts. She doesn't want to be the She-Hulk, so she wants the Inhibitor, and she's asking her cousin very politely.
Now fix me back to normal.
This is not going away.
Give me that little device thing. Make me one. For me.
Mr. Banner says that he can't just make an Inhibitor overnight. It's a special device calibrated to him. So what that tells me is that no rando can just make this in a cave with a box of scraps. Only he has the technology to inhibit Jen from transforming into the Hulk. Let's skip to the final episode. Oh, how did that get there? This is actually something that comes up in the third episode of the show.
And is ordered to wear an inhibitor in perpetuity.
Psst, Jen. Jen, that's it. That's your ticket out of here, Jen. You can go back to normal. You could ask the court, Jen. Jen, you need it. Come on, Jen. So this would be actually okay if there was a payoff. Jen actually acknowledges that she has a burden to bear. She has some responsibility for being a Hulk. I rewatched the episode and maybe she says something in the speech.
How did you come up with the name She-Hulk?
Some random guy on the news came up with it after thinking about it for like 2 seconds, but it stuck. So now whether I like it or not, I am forever She-Hulk.
This would have actually worked if during the episode she uses her She-Hulk powers to do some public service. Or during her lawyering, she saves someone in a prison break or something. Okay, she saved these people, right? During the Titania thing. But I get the sense that she didn't do it out of the goodness of her heart.
No, do your thing. Right now in front of everybody?
And then she tries to gaslight people in the second episode.
But I wasn't gonna just let those people get hurt.
No.
What kind of person would that make me? And now I feel like I'm being punished for doing the right thing. Maybe I should have just let those people get smushed by that desk.
Sweetheart.
She's just a very weak protagonist. She has to be told to save people. She has to be told the moral of what she did. She even has to be told by Blonsky to just go and do the interview.
I mean, they're going to write a story about you one way or the other, you know. Better to be a part of it, really.
And there is no moment where she integrates all these things and decides that, hey, maybe the She-Hulk thing is actually a good thing.
So now whether I like it or not, I am forever She-Hulk.
Yes, we need that internal moment where she decides to step up. Because otherwise, she's just being told what to do, which is very progressive for the strong female protagonist. Okay, since we're adjacent to Blonsky here, he also had an inhibitor problem in the 7th episode.
We got a malfunction alert on
Blonsky's inhibitor.
But in the finale, he can just transform into the Abomination. Did somebody take off his inhibitor? Wouldn't that mean the police were there? If that's the case, then in this massive pileup of like Titania, Hulk, whoever, the police should be coming. Actually, that would make sense in universe, but they don't even fucking bother with that.
You've been transforming into the Abomination.
Yeah, I do speaking engagements. Nothing bad, strictly for profit.
If he just does it whenever he has a secret engagement, then every fucking time he should have triggered the fucking inhibitor.
Malfunction alert.
I am baffled by the writing team here. Like, no one reviewed the script. No one was like thinking like maybe the joke doesn't land or doesn't make sense. And if you're gonna go, oh, it's just a silly little sitcom, turn your brain off. Shut up. Was How I Met Your Mother just Omega Low? Yes. But it also told a great story. It told every story. It had dramatic beats. It had character development that they ignored in the fucking ending. 5K likes, and I talk about the ending. It's gonna be better than this fucking She-Hulk thing. Okay, guys? Okay. Rant over. I think you can make a thoughtful, intelligent comedy, and they didn't even try. This isn't even lowbrow comedy. This is just insulting. We got a weak protagonist, and a story that has as much cohesion as diarrhea. But wait, viewer, there's more. The story has setups with no payoff, and payoffs with no setup. I think the terms are self-explanatory. When you set something up in a story, the payoff is that the seeds you plant in your narrative will bloom later. I think that's great because there's some interaction between the author and the person reading or watching the medium. You're rewarding them for paying attention, which is good. So I'm gonna say the examples on top of my head, like Wrecker, for instance. He had a connection with the whole story, or at least that's where the story was going until they decided not to do that, with the blood plot.
Showing off your powers.
So Jen meets up with Wrecker during the therapy episode. But after the pep talk, they just cheer her up and they go away. She doesn't even ask, hey, before I go, what do you remember who hired you for the job of taking my blood? No, there's none of that. That's the smart thing to do, and they don't do that. Oh, you got a card from the gang, Jen. I think there are more important things to consider than the goddamn card. Or how about this, right? This is the guy that is behind everything. I'll tear into that later. He says this.
Yeah, my skin is impenetrable, at least with anything on Earth.
Even vibranium?
And then this.
At an auction recently buying art, and then get this. They had an authentic Wakandan war spear.
So you would think that he has some sort of vibranium spear at some point in the ending, or we are told that the injection that they get for the blood was vibranium. No! We don't even get to see She-Hulk getting stabbed. We just get this guy saying, trust me, bro. And there aren't even injuries or Jen. She doesn't even feel that. Come on, bro. And the payoff with literally no setup is neatly tied in to the last portion of this analysis. So let's get to it.
You know, I received at the very beginning a lot of really mean kind of trolly comments.
Sure.
And they've completely dried up because I think now people realize that they're playing right into our hands.
I'm bleeding, making me the victor.
So to understand how terrible this finale is, and therefore actually the whole show is, you have to get to the 8th episode, just before the finale, where we end with the critique against She-Hulk.
She does not deserve the power she stole from the Hulk.
Oh my god, can
She's
somebody
not good enough
cut
to
this
be a
off?
superhero.
Stop this.
And she's a slut.
The problem with this is that it's true. She has never worked towards becoming a hero. And she actually doesn't try to be a good person. She's just a narcissist. She has to be told to save people by her friend. She uses her She-Hulk powers to one-up an old classmate. The only time she actually tries to save someone, it's her client. She's not doing it altruistically. Everything she does is for her benefit. And in the 7th episode, where she goes on a, oh no, people don't see me for me, Jen is still She-Hulk. Literally.
Jen?
Yeah?
Wait, you're still Jen? Right now?
Yeah?
This is incredible. You don't have an alter ego. You're the only one in there?
As far as I can tell.
Yep, Chief, we got her. This is the smoking gun right here, Chief. So her narcissistic behavior as the She-Hulk is the same as Jen. And vice versa. Or however the fuck you want to say that shit. That's why she acts like a harlot as Jen. And as the She-Hulk, she's just jealous of her alter ego because that's what gets her attention. But her personality inside doesn't really change. So I don't really get to feel anything for her. But my good chap, what about the time when she developed feelings for Josh? The problem with that is, gentle sir, the episode after that is the Matt show, where Matt says you could use her lawyering skills to help people normally, and then after that, use her powers as She-Hulk when the law fails them. She's ready to go to Bangtown. So this is the writers again being consistently inconsistent. It fits their MO. Righto, indubitably, old chap. Booker boys! Oh, I have to say this out loud because there are dumb people that might think I actually endorse what happened to Jen. No. It shouldn't have been done. Little Platoon did point out though in his video what was actually doxed. You got what? Saved pictures of people she would like to bang on Tinder. Her credit account, her phone numbers, Captain America's butt. Okay. Where is the smoking gun here? From what they showed us, it's nothing. This is a nothing burger. They should actually show us her clips of being petty, like what I've been showing throughout this whole fucking analysis. Was the smoking gun the sex tape? Because that triggers her. When really she shouldn't have been triggered. You got nothing. It actually makes Jen look good. She'll get embarrassed, she'll get angry, but she still has the moral high ground here. You should not destroy a building and possibly endanger civilians. Isn't that right, Jen?
I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
So the people behind Intelligentsia, you know, the big bad guys of the show, are smart enough to hack the award ceremony and broadcast this, but are also dumb enough to wear conspicuous disguises in the gala when they could have just suited up normally and it would be fine. And what bothers me particularly is that Jen manages to catch one of them. And for episode 9 to work, for the finale to work, they just ignore this masked guy Jen was holding. It's not like it's a Halloween ball. It's an award show. Surely the police would have taken that into consideration when they captured She-Hulk. Jen doesn't even bring up the guy when she's talking with Mallory. This is so weird. The writing is so incompetent. Oh my god.
They baited you and you took the bait.
I was angry, which is how anyone would respond in that situation.
But you're not just anyone. You are an out-of-control Hulk.
The female cousin of the Hulk, popularly known as She-Hulk, has been released from custody.
Terms of the deal permanently bar Jennifer Walters from transforming into her She-Hulk.
A neighbor who wished to remain anonymous said they are uncomfortable knowing an unstable super being lives just next door.
Oh my god. Is it time for Bruce's lessons to come to fruition?
You can't be emotional. Forget Hulk rage. Just regular anger means death and destruction for everything and everyone around you. And I'm telling you, when people start seeing you as a monster that never goes away.
Responsibility? Fuck that shit. We got Intelligentsia to blame, motherfucker.
This isn't even a reluctant superhero story. I'm just getting screwed over.
She's just focused on making Intelligentsia pay. She doesn't consider the fact that she was baited as a bad thing. No. There is no self-reflection in the show, despite it making you think it has at the end of it. Let's talk about Intelligentsia for a bit, because they're us. So guys, in the beginning of She-Hulk, there are very pointed comments against our heroine. And guys, it turns out to be a setup because it is these incel chuds who are the villains of the show.
Sent me a link to a video posted on that site, Intelligentsia.
The one for hateful man babies?
Yep.
If you look at the website, it's basically Reddit. And you got these low quality memes like, good job, idiot. You can't even meme properly. So, if you're a troll, you're part of Intelligentsia. They confirmed this in an interview online. In addition to breaking the fourth wall, the finale tackles some of the exact same trolling comments that Marvel fans have been making. And I don't think Marvel fans will appreciate being equated as trolls, especially when they just are pointing out that some of the writing, hell, most of the writing in She-Hulk is dumb. And also, Tatiana Maslany is full of it. She says this, "Were you expecting to face the trolls when you signed on for the show? Reading the script, it was so true. There's so much resistance to a woman just existing in that space of superheroes. It's not about a woman being a woman, it's how they're written, how it's acted. People love Black Widow, but hated Captain Marvel. And this is Jessica Gao saying it like she's admitting that these incel chuds in intelligentsia are the trolls. How did it feel to accurately predict what the trolls would be saying? Our writer's room opened up 3 years ago. The fact that you were able to predict what the reaction was gonna be, what a lot of the trolling comments were going to be, really shows how very tired and unoriginal these trolls are. This is very revealing, because instead of writing a show that is actually engaging, entertaining, makes use of She-Hulk's enemies, I am sure she has a rogues gallery. Instead of writing that, you dedicate your series to preemptively defending yourself against imagined threats, against these trolls that are gonna pwn you. It's so pathetic. I tweeted this out when I realized it.
They took the Hulk's manhood away, but then they gave it to a woman?
As a creator, this offends me, because you had a great opportunity with a character that most Marvel fans, I think, would love. And instead of writing a great story, you make a bad one and pretend that it was all part of this plan and you're trolling us. Guys, don't take this the wrong way, but whenever I do a video, I don't think about you. I'm thinking, oh, I find this funny. How am I gonna execute that? And then I just throw it into the wild and see if anyone would like it. They didn't even do that. Guys, the last thing I would want to do is to legitimize or notice people who want attention. It's almost like you're being baited by something and you're biting the bait. I guess it is accurate, huh?
I was angry, which is how anyone would respond in that situation.
So keep that in mind, guys. We are the enemy of She-Hulk, and She-Hulk at this point is essentially the mouthpiece of the writers. I'm just gonna skip to the confrontation because Jen just magically and luckily stumbles into what Blonsky was doing, and it turns out that is where Intelligentsia was having their meeting. Chaos ensues.
What is even happening here? No. This is a mess. None of these storylines make any sense.
Like, you could have a finale here. There are actually bits and pieces that you could make a finale with. Because if you want to make a funny ending to this whole thing, that would actually, I think, land, it's the blood plot.
You and I, we share a rare combination of genetic factors that allow us to synthesize gamma radiation. Way too dangerous to get out in the world, even if there's only a 1,000,000% chance that it makes another one of us.
Todd manages to get the blood, but when he injects it in his veins, he just fucking dies.
Why is it?
Abomination and Hulk go, fighting against my cousin. Abomination goes, no. They're okay with it. Titania fucks off because it's boring. Then Jen could look at the camera and go, oh, I was expecting something else. Oh, I thought we were gonna have the thing where everyone fights and we have CGI explosion. Then an explosion could just happen for no fucking reason, because that shit would be funny. We didn't get that. What we got was a fourth wall break.
What kind of stupid finale is this?
Okay, there are certain things that are supposed to happen in a superhero story.
That's the thing. They're lying to you. This show is barely a superhero show. There's no hero's journey. Jen stays who she is in the beginning and at the end. Stop gaslighting me, show. I paid attention.
This is the story that Kevin wants.
Okay, then I want to talk to Kevin.
On the way to speak to the manager, she beats up 4 security guards. In the context of this show, this is now reality. So she just bodied people who were just doing their job. Another point in our great heroine. What a champ. What a go-getter.
Kevin, I'm not happy with what's happening in my story.
You do not get to choose.
So to convince Kevin, she makes a closing argument, which ties back to the first episode because we didn't actually get to hear her argument in the trial. Oh my god! It would be clever if the show wasn't so stupid.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe is known for its big spectacles and high-stakes plot lines, but it's often said that Marvel movies all end the same way. Perhaps this is a result of following some unwritten rule that you have to throw a bunch of plot and flash and a whole blood thing that seems super suspiciously close to Super Soldier Serum at the audience in the climax. I propose we don't have to do that.
My problem with the whole maybe we shouldn't have done the blood plot line and maybe we should have just focused on something else. Maybe just write that instead of whatever this was. Also, Kevin just goes, go on, my child. It's supposed to be an argument. Argue. You're not even countering her points.
Distracts from the story, which is that my life fell apart right when I was learning to be both Jen and She-Hulk.
That is not true. The show is trying to gaslight us again. The story that the showrunners were writing was the blood plot line. But then you are trying to sneak in this whole character development thing of integrating your identities, which are really just the same, for personal stakes. And if that was what you wanted to write in the first place, you should have done that. You cannot write a season poorly, terribly, and then expect me to go, oh, I guess you do need that closure for that arc that doesn't exist. This is that payoff with no setup. This never happens, and the show keeps pretending it does. So Kevin just agrees, and what is the proposed solution? She removes the blood plotline, and this is her reasoning.
Like, the powers aren't the villain. He is.
No, that's what the villain needs to be a credible threat to you. I actually think the blood plot line with the powered up Todd would actually be a good fight for Jen if she actually wants to complete some sort of heroic arc, because that would be confronting her responsibility as a Hulk. But we skip that. So instead of confronting our fears, confronting our mistakes, we ask someone to do it for us. What a great moral She-Hulk. Also, the Blonsky edit grates me.
After all that, I just want him to hold himself accountable.
Because she's mad that she vouched for Blonsky. And at most, Blonsky did was get money on the side. Blonsky even saved Jen. He protected her. And she condemns him, basically, to 10 years in prison.
It's the karmic price I pay for my actions.
So you have a reality warping machine that is basically doing your bidding. You can't magic it so that Blonsky doesn't attend the intelligentsia meeting at all, or have it so that Blonsky doesn't decide to use Abomination in side gigs and he just gets money for whatever. You can't even do that?
Well, maybe you can write some haikus about it.
That's how utterly vapid and vindictive she is. She also wants Matt as a fuck buddy.
A woman has needs.
You got nigh unlimited power, and what you want to do with it is to get a fuck buddy and punish some guys. Brilliant. I'm gonna ignore the Hulk thing, because Hulk is barely a presence here. So why the fuck would I bother? The showrunners didn't bother with Hulk's son's hair. Fuck off. The meta jokes she does after this whole thing, I don't even care anymore. It's just try hard cringe for me. Giga try hard energy.
Oh, and when are we getting the X-Men?
I cannot. Shut the fuck up!
Jen confronts the guy who baited her into becoming a rage monster and acts like it's some sort of moral victory. It would have, if she acknowledged any sort of fault.
I'll see you in court, babe.
There is no development to this. This feels so unearned. You can't show me a season where nothing happens and at the end conclude with this.
That if you attack, harm, or harass innocent people, I'm coming for you.
Do you mean in the courtroom or as a superhero?
Both.
And expect me to go, oh, what a fully realized character in a funny and thoughtful season of television. The showrunners wanted to talk about inane stuff.
What's really fun about this show is that, in the Marvel movies, we get to see a lot of high-stakes events. The universe is going to end. Everyone in existence is going to go away. But what happens in between those events? What happens on a regular Tuesday when you just have to do laundry? That's really kind of the slice of life that this show kind of explores.
But somehow make a heroic payoff at the end of the show. And it doesn't work because your plot can be summarized as self-absorbed lady gets powers by dumb luck and decides to use it for her benefit in several low-stakes drivel. Somehow, at the end, she still becomes a hero. Great. That sounds like a show I could watch.
It's an interesting thing that a lack of craftsmanship and a lack of insight into life seem to go hand in hand.
I really gotta emphasize, no one cares if you're alive.
This show is just sad. It made a bad season of television on purpose as some sort of calculated 1000 IQ play to Own the haters. Guys, if you act like an idiot to troll someone, congratulations. You still look like an idiot. And you know who's the biggest idiot? Anyone who genuinely liked the show.
This can't possibly be where this season was going. None of these storylines make any sense. Is this working for you?
It's mocking you. It's mocking you right now for thinking that this would go anywhere.
Bad guy steals my blood in order to give himself superpowers. Where did you come up with that original idea? Was that from every other superhero story ever?
Okay. It is mocking the plot that it built up throughout this season just to throw it at your face. We tricked you! Did you get it? Did you get the subversion, idiot? What were you expecting? She-Hulk with a plot? Fuck off! It's mocking fan Reddits discussing about how beautiful the show is, when really, I feel nothing but contempt from this show. Guys, if anything, the most accurate villain of the show would be 4chan. But they didn't even give enough of a fuck to render 4chan properly. They asked themselves, oh, what is the shitty website where these incels dwell? Oh, of course, Reddit. They thought of you. Why, yes, I like eating shit. Thank you for the intelligentsia gold, my good sir. How can you not be insulted by that shit? How can you eat up this drivel?
I don't care what a bunch of losers say about me online.
The show is teeming with insecurity. It knows that it needs cameos so that people will watch the show.
Just remember whose show this actually is.
It hates Marvel. It hates what came before it. That's why they're shitting on the Hulk. Even though you should treat this character with the utmost courtesy, dare I say, respect. That's why even though Daredevil is somewhat competent, they have to be passive-aggressive about his presence. Guys, I'm not crying out for a revolution. I'm just saying, maybe you should think about the media you're consuming, huh? And that ends my video for this evening, or this morning, or this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. More videos to come, so stay tuned. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, a huge shout out to my patrons for making this possible. 21st Century Guy, Black Vulcan X, Bonov M. Yisod, Chet McMasterson, Daniil Dimitriev, Delatar Teeps, Hjortur S. Hjorturson, John Lemley, M. Marcelo Oliveria, Registered Good Boy, Robot Eye, Rocky Zadok, Shaped Like Bacon, Tad586, and all these other wonderful patrons.